Hi, I'm Larry London. This is Border Crossings. On today's show, a bit of American history with a band named after the Battle of Brooklyn in New York, Fireships. Lead singer and Fireships founder Andrew Vladek says he came up with the name while living in the Hudson Valley and being fascinated by the historic events that took place there. In addition to his music, Andrew also works as a history guide in New York's famous Central Park, where he's known as the Singing Ranger. The band Fireships are on tour promoting their self-titled debut CD with stops in Europe planned for May. And today's Border Crossings brings you a closer look at the award-winning band Fireships, next on Music Alley. Hi, welcome to Border Crossings. My name's Larry London. In our studios today, they're on the road for a brand new album, and we'd like to welcome to D.C. Fireships, who are here in our studios. We welcome you guys. Congratulations on the new album. I know this is an exciting time when a band puts out its first album.
Yes, we're pretty excited. It's very exciting being here at this address.
Well, we're happy to have you here. At this address.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for getting up early and doing this for us. Andrew is the lead vocalist, and I guess you put the band together?
Yes. Yeah, I've been writing the songs. I've co-written songs with some of my friends as well, and I've been playing with these friends here in our New York scene in various incarnations for a while.
Mm-hmm. Can you introduce everybody who's here?
Absolutely. On the bass guitar, Dan Green. Dan B.
Good
Green.
morning.
On drums, today he'll be playing percussion, Ray Rizzo.
Hey, hello.
Hello, hello.
And on the keyboards and vocals, Lauren Balthrop.
Hello, good morning.
And so, Andrew, you sound a lot like Bob Dylan, listening to your music. I'm sure you've heard that, a young Bob Dylan.
Oh, thanks. Well, I love Bob Dylan, and I love Bruce Springsteen. I love them. That tradition is kind of where I come out of in terms of singer-songwriting and going way back to the great well of American folk music. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And you have won many different awards for songwriting, for your performing, for your music. So that's got to be exciting.
Absolutely. I was glad that a couple of the songs on the record got a little love in that regard, and I love writing. That's one of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. So.
And you were part of a band, or still maybe part of a band, in Alabama, although you guys are based in New York. So what's the connection with Alabama?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in a band that was started by Lauren here and her brother. It's called Balthrop, Alabama. That's her last name. And it's just a wonderful, epic barnyard folk music conglomeration of just great songwriting and a big band. And we all live in Brooklyn, but it's a fictional town called Balthrop.
My brother and I are from Alabama.
Oh, so you're the Alabama connection.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because usually people in Brooklyn, I don't know where the connection to Alabama. So that's interesting.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about what I love about my scene. Ray's from Kentucky. Dan Green, well, he's from Brooklyn and from Jersey, and a lot of the players, everyone's from someplace else in New York. Mm-hmm. Everyone. I think your listeners know. Your listeners all over the world probably have a relative in Queens, or Brooklyn. I mean, it's an amazing thing about New York.
And your last name, Vladek, it sounds European.
Yes, my family came over from what is like today, like Belarus. Mm-hmm. 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah. So, we have listeners in Belarus.
Oh, hey, out there. All right. Outside Minsk, back in the day.
Minsk. My family came from Minsk.
Hey, how about
Maybe
that?
on the same boat. Who knows?
Maybe. Cousin.
Long-lost cousin. Well, we're glad to have Fireships here. We're going to ask if you guys wouldn't mind doing a song for us.
Absolutely.
You brought the instruments, so let's put them to use.
All right.
What are we going to hear first?
You'll hear a song called Come Back to Me.
Come Back to Me. What's the inspiration behind this?
Come Back to Me. I wanted to write a song that reflected the neighborhoods I live in Brooklyn and some stuff I was going through. And so you'll hear various landmarks of New York and Brooklyn in the song. And then musically, I was really inspired by West African music at the time. Ali Farka Touré, and of course, in South African guitar styles. And so there's a little bit of an amalgam of stuff going on.
Great. All right, here they are, Fireships.
All right. Well, I run my fingers through the knotted grass of Prospect Park down the path. We lost ourselves after dark. I see your silver smiles, morning sparkles through the leaves, with dirt under your fingernails and grass stains on your knees. Come back to me. Come back to me. Well, I see your slender fingers as you twist the pocket knife. The silver dagger dances in the full moon shining light. You push me against the willow and you sweetly swear to me as you reach over my head and carve our names up in that tree. Come back to me. Come back to me. No, it just don't feel right. I'd wait all night, waiting all my, waiting all my life. Yeah. The Winsburg Bank Tower or 4th Avenue. You see me climb to the top and wonder what I'm gonna do, yeah. All your neighbors see me waving high above your block as I take out a wrench and turn the time back on the clock. Come back to me. Come back to me. As long as our names are carved way up in that tree, you'll always have a piece of me, 'cause it just don't feel right. I wait all night, waited all night, waited. Oh, come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. 'Cause I can't help coming back to you. Yeah,
All right, sounding great. Fireships live here on the Voice of America. This is Border Crossings. And so has it always been folk and Americana music for all of you guys? I mean, this is a very specialized kind of music. And so is this what you grew up listening to and decided this is what you wanted to do?
Well, for myself, definitely, I was like, I came of age. Life was changed listening to Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen, and I knew that I wanted to write songs. And from their lead, I went back in time to Woody Guthrie, Leadbelly, everyone that's on Smithsonian Folkways just down the street, you know, and just dug from that well. And I love all that old folky guitar playing music, Reverend Gary Davis, Mississippi John Hurt. And so that's my world. And I try to push the two a little bit further together and add my own sensibility for what this is. And I think everyone in the band has such diverse interests in music that they bring in and push things in different ways, which is so great.
Mm-hmm. For everybody else, has it always been this kind of music for you, or?
Well, I kind of grew up watching Bugs Bunny and Popeye. There was a lot of
That's what they do in
Popeye,
Kentucky,
yeah.
huh?
music. Well, actually, I lived in Alexandria, Virginia for a while,
okay.
so DC 101 and WPGC.
The home of Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, right. Well,
Is that
maybe.
right?
Yeah, all kinds of music for me.
Growing up in Brooklyn, I don't know how I got into Elvis, but I loved Elvis as a kid. And then just like Andrew said, it pushes you back into the old blues and rhythm and blues and American music, basically. So this is all part of it, I think.
Mm-hmm. And for Alabama?
Well, of course, I grew up listening to a lot of old country. Patsy Cline was the person who I always wanted to sing like, and her voice was just perfect. And I grew up singing harmony with my family. We never could listen to the radio without adding our own harmony to it. So harmony just sort of became a big part of my thing. When I would listen to music, I would be listening for the vocal harmonies. We loved the Everly Brothers and the Louvin Brothers, a lot of that kind of music.
Folk and Americana music, it's not mainstream. It's not in the pop culture today. And it's you cited some older Bob Dylan and Arlo Guthrie. It's hard today to become, this is a tough direction for young musicians to be traveling.
Yeah, well, we did this electronica crazy. No, we never did that. Who knows what the next album will
Folktronica.
bring, you know?
You're evolving as you go, I guess.
I think that's
Yeah.
a new genre, folktronica.
Folktronica. There you go. We've started something new.
You never know.
You never know. And one of the songs on your new album was inspired by Keith Richards' book
Wow.
from the Rolling Stones, right?
That's
Keith Richards?
right.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
So you found
know-
inspiration in some interesting places.
Yeah, we'll do that song next then.
Oh.
It's called Long Shadow, and I think the Stones drink from the well of American music. So it's so interesting to listen to them and be inspired in this sort of circular fashion by the same music that we love, and Keith Richards' guitar playing and his story is incredible, and a lot of that inspired this song. Of course, our own hard living inspired this song too.
I always find it interesting when a musician explains where the inspiration came for certain songs, because you find songs in the strangest places and the most unlikely places too.
Yeah.
And
Have you
everyone
ever-
interprets them differently.
That's true. That's true. Have you ever come up with a song, let's say in an airport, in between flights, or somewhere unusual?
Oh, I find writing songs on airplanes has always been an amazing thing for me. Just to be trapped in one place. I've often written songs at 30,000 feet. That's a great spot for me. Maybe because you're closer to the ether.
That's right. The air is thinner.
Air thinner, right.
Both, yeah.
Now, it's not an easy challenge to pick the songs you want to put on your debut album, because here you are, hello world, here's what Fireships is all about, and I'm sure you've written many, many songs. What was the process in whittling it down to the songs that you decided on?
They kind of whittled themselves. I feel like once I get past a certain point in the song and I'm writing it, I know whether I'm going to continue or just or scrap it. So I usually don't wind up with 30 songs that are all contenders. I usually know by halfway through, like this is worth working on and finishing and getting through. So I made it through with about that many, and there are many more that are scraps and pieces, or like I have several whole songs that I just didn't bring in the studio so I knew what for me what was working, what wasn't. Yeah.
And does everybody contribute in the writing process, or is this kind of your duty as the writing?
It's generally my duty, but like what you're hearing on the record and what you're hearing live is completely what everyone is bringing and making the music, the orchestration, which for me really makes a song live, and especially doing it live here and on our shows on tour. It does what music is supposed to, which is be in the moment and get people in the moment. It's not going to be out of the can playing the parts. Everyone's working and adapting.
Do you do a lot of international touring?
I've done a fair amount. I've been to Europe several times. I'll be back there in the spring, and for all you people out there in Minsk or West Africa or you name it, we'd love to come see you. So
Just invite them, right?
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Just
invite them.
Right. Give us a place to stay. We'll bring an air mattress.
There you go.
You know.
So, I mean, in all the international travels, it's kind of, must be interesting to see how they respond to the kind of music you do. I mean, America, you grew up here, kind of basically what the scene is. But when you go play in a new country for the first time and expose them to maybe a sound that they've not heard before.
Oh yeah, it can be thrilling because for them they've heard American music forever and they feel like they're getting source material. They feel like, wow, this is the real deal. And we are. I mean, let's face it. So it's really exciting, just to be able to share and to connect those dots for people. It's an honor to be in that position. So.
All right. Well, Fireships are here, and the new album is called Fireships, now available. We'll talk about where you can get it in just a few minutes, but we're going to ask if you wouldn't mind doing Long Shadow, since
All right.
we talked about it.
Okay.
Is there more to the story than just reading Keith Richards' book?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the book resonated because it's a lot, playing in bands for years, the stories are fairly interchangeable, to a certain extent, minus certain significant troublesome aspects, but there's a lot there that I felt. I think all of us musicians read the book, and it's spectacular. Or listen to it. So a lot of it resonates, and a lot of it is personal. So this is where songwriting, where the inspiration through creative license gets a little bit warped and diluted, and you get to own a little bit more of it.
Right. So. Great. So now you build the excitement. We want to hear the song.
All right, here we go.
It's Fireships.
Hope so. Well, I went away to get my blood changed, and I had my wires rearranged. You might think that I'm acting strange, it's just me acting tough. Well, I fired a shot right through the floor, and this circus ran straight for the door. Well, he asked me what I did that for. I guess I had enough. Flying cars and ricochets, yeah, not a soul escapes unscathed. You might think that those are the days, the best left to the past. Bodyguards in the hall playing chess. How I survived is anyone's guess. But when you're cat with one life left, you learn to move real fast. A long shadow follows me around. A long shadow after the sun goes down. What I gotta do to prove to you, if you only knew how I made it through this long shadow, where the blinds are drawn and the deadbolt clicks. Those dirty dogs will rip you to bits. Yeah, all that funky junkie, well, you just ask my mates. Well, I still got my ring and my broken tooth. I can take your pills and spit the truth. Well, the dope and the cops may have been some use. It's open to debate. Well, the wind in the trees sounds like a call. The headlight sun ain't very far. You gonna stay right where you are, or hitch a ride along shadow follows me around. A long shadow. After the sun goes down, what I gotta do to prove to you, if you only knew how I made it through the long shadow, this long shadow, this long shadow, this long shadow.
Great song. Great song. Fireships live here on Border Crossings. Your new album is now out. Where can people get the album? The obvious Amazon, iTunes?
Yes. You can go to fireships.net, bandcamp.com, all that stuff. You look online. Yeah.
All right.
You said it.
And get the album. That's the most important thing, is get a copy of the album. I like the sound.
Thank you so
really, really
much.
do. The debut album sounding great. And you guys, obviously, the Huffington Post called it a fun album. So, you've had a lot of accomplishments already in such a short amount of time. You got a Vox Pop Award, and you're in Deli Magazine. I mean, how many bands can say they made it to Deli Magazine?
The Deli. Yeah, absolutely. Lauren, everyone here plays in different incarnations, and Lauren's folk incarnation, Dear Georgiana, won Best Folk Act in New York City. That's right.
Now, how does
Still.
Brooklyn connect to the name of the band? I mean, I read where you guys got your name from something in Brooklyn. How Fireships?
I love American history, and the American Revolution was fought largely in the New York metropolitan area, and the first battle of the Continental Army during the American Revolution was the Battle of Brooklyn, which it was then called the Battle of Long Island, but it happened in downtown Brooklyn. And there's still areas of that you see to this day. And before that started, right before the battle, there were British warships in the harbor surrounding New York City. And there was no American Navy to speak of, so they stuffed a couple of old Hudson River sloops with firewood and scared off the mighty British warships. And I just thought that was a great metaphor for the power of song, what songs can do with fire and water, fight darkness with light, make the world a better place, send it out to the universe. That was what I was thinking. So it all came together with my love of history and my love of song.
Fireships live here on the Voice of America. They're about to do the last song here on our program for today. But before you do your song, Lauren, I have to ask, is that an instrument, or is that your lunch, or is that a good luck charm?
This?
It looks like
Yeah,
a
I
squash
wasn't sure
of some sort of
it's a pumpkin shaker. I
Pumpkin,
wasn't
okay.
sure if I was going to use it or not.
All right, I didn't know if it was
But
going
it's
to get
also
eaten.
a nice set decoration. You know.
Is that a real?
No, it's plastic.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just wondering. Wow, technology these days. What's the name of the next song?
We're going to play Going Down Fighting.
Going Down Fighting. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I quit my job and I'm on the land. I'm a burning man on 95 and I'm headed south. The heat's a punch in the mouth. You were born on a Friday. Well, I was born on a highway, so I know how it feels to be drifting around, to be more lost than found. I'm going down, I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. I'm going down, I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. I cast my lot when I flunked the test. You told me I was blessed, and I told you you'd find a southern belle at the moment. but I'm going down fighting. I'm going down. I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. You were born on a Sunday. Well, I was born on a runway, so I know how it feels to be right in the way. You know how it feels. Yeah, do you know, girl? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going down. I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. I'm going down. I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. I'm going down. I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting. I'm going down. I'm going way down, but I'm going down fighting, baby.
Fireships here on Border Crossings. So what's the plan for 2016? Now the New Year's here, and what's on the agenda? You still lots of touring? Are you just going to be on the road the whole year?
We're getting off running. This is our second date tonight in Arlington at IOTA, and then we're just going around the country. Really, lots of shows. Really excited to see a lot of friends in different cities as well.
Now, if people want to reach out to you around the world, what are the different ways that they can find you guys?
Great. You can find us on Facebook. We're Fireships, simply that, and you can find us at fireships.net.
That sounds great. Now, I noticed you have some, looks like kanji or some kind of a character, Asian character on your finger, the tattoo.
Yeah.
I couldn't let the show go. We're broadcasting in Asia, and I know we have a lot of viewers and listeners, so what is the significance
Well, before
of that?
my wife and I got married, we actually broke up for a little while. When we got back together, she had gotten a tattoo, and so the week before we got married, I put it on my finger. It symbolizes home.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's different between Chinese and Japanese, but roughly a very robust definition of home.
Well, that's great.
House, yeah.
That's kind of cool. And risky, too, at the same time.
Yeah.
To do it before you're married. So very nice.
It's working out.
Well, you guys sound great. I really enjoyed
Thank
meeting
you.
you and having you in our studios.
Thank you for having us.
Congratulations on the new album, and please do come back and see us the next time you're here in D.C.
Would love to.
All right, the name of the band's Fireships. My name's Larry London, and you have been tuned to Border Crossings.